Hey, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is Orange and Blue today. It is Cecil Lammey. It is Andrew Mason. And we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos traveling to face the Baltimore Ravens. Mace, I feel less upset about the Broncos today, but I also think, maybe we should talk about the new Indiana Jones trailer. I don't know. Maybe that's something a little more positive out there. But either way, we're here, and we're here to
I
talk
haven't seen it.
Broncos.
Well, I
You haven't
haven't
seen it
seen it.
yet?
No, I mean, did it come out today? I've been kind of busy today. So.
Yeah. It came out early or late last night, I think. It might have come out
You
late
seem
last night.
excited about it. I'm actually, because honestly, after Crystal Skull, I'm kind of fearing the worst. But you seem to be getting my hopes up here.
Well, it's not aliens like it was in Crystal Skull, so hopefully that's a good thing. New Guardians of the Galaxy trailer's out too, but I haven't watched that yet. It just came out.
So they're not nuking the fridge in this one, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
But always
That's
hope when Harrison Ford is involved, and maybe less hope with Nathaniel Hackett and company. But let's get into it today, and just kind of the news items and just the way you feel about the Broncos today after another day of practice.
I mean, kind of the newsiest thing here is the news on KJ Hamler having a setback coming back from a hamstring injury. And it's really, really unfortunate for him. I mean, this locker room, this team, it's probably a little bit lower than you'd like on Dogs, DAWGS. He's dog, right? And not only does he bring the vertical speed threat, but he brings that intensity, that passion that this team really needs. And so it's a huge setback for him. It certainly hinders the efforts of the offense to find any explosiveness. We've seen what it's looked like the last 3 weeks without him out there as a result of that. By the way, he's missed 4 games so far this season, KJ Hamler has. And the offense, I believe, in those games has 16, 10, 16, and 10 in those games. So presume he's not going to play this game. I guess that means they're going to get 16. Yay. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. And when you're talking about a setback on a hamstring injury for a player with a history of hamstring injuries, Cease, you're maybe talking about a season potentially ending. And that's really tough. I mean, if KJ doesn't return, he will have played in only, I believe, 7 games this year. And, of course, he had the injuries last year. So it's just that's some unfortunate news for a kid that deserves some good news, truly.
Yeah, deserves some good news, and hopefully he can get healthy for next year because it's his last year of his rookie contract next season.
Mm-hmm. It's getting late early for him.
Exactly. Get him healthy. Hopefully he can string together some stuff. And we've seen it before. Guys be banged up and have career years in their final year of their rookie contract. So maybe KJ will do that. I don't think he'll ever be you and I weren't doing this, but some people were like tossing out Tyreek Hill comparisons. Like, no. But he is super fast, and he is a weapon that definitely alters what a defense wants to do.
Yeah. Why does the comparison always have to go to the very best player at a specific skill? It's like when people are comparing Pat Surtain to Champ Bailey. That's not fair to Pat, right? I mean, Pat's a very good cornerback. I think he's a Pro Bowl cornerback year in, year 2, which is remarkable. But is it fair to say he's Champ Bailey? No, not yet. The last couple of games should probably have reminded everybody of that. But, oh, by the way, Champ Bailey was beat sometimes as well. It happens.
Yeah. So the calendar is flipped over to December, Mace. It's my favorite time of year, almost, because it's almost draft season. And I start my college analyzing in the month of December, usually around bowl season. I don't get into it during the college football season. There's too much going on. But Gage, our good buddy here, says, do you think wide receiver would be a higher priority? Yeah, maybe. Maybe if you're the Broncos, not as high as right tackle needs to be, but yeah, it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. I think maybe the next few weeks we see some guys auditioning for what their roles will be. You get Jerry Jeudy back at some point now. Jerry Judy's still out with his own ankle injury. He has not practiced since he suffered that injury November 13th against the Titans. Remember when he was day-to-day and the thought, they might get him back by the next game. And you know what? We're talking week to week here. If he doesn't get back by Sunday, it's going to be 3 games missed for Jerry Jeudy. But when he gets back, and I think he will be back at some point in this season, between him and also guys like Kendall Hinton, Brandon Johnson, Jalen Virgil, you have players who are going to be playing for future roles. And I think maybe the most interesting one there is the guy who had the touchdown catch on Sunday, and that's Brandon Johnson. Still on the practice squad, but I imagine if Hamler goes to IR with this setback with the hamstring injury, that Johnson would go up to the 53. Remember, this is a player they liked well enough back in the preseason and training camp to be giving him first unit reps, not as a cameo, pretty regular. Then, of course, he had the high ankle sprain, and they cut him. It was kind of a procedural thing, an injury thing. He comes back. He's had some flashes the last couple of games. Someone like him is playing for a future role. And then don't forget, you are going to get Tim Patrick back next year as well. So I think receiver is an interesting below the surface priority, but when you look at other pressing needs, a screaming need like offensive line, it still ends up a little ways down the checklist.
Yeah, and over the last 2 days, Mace, I've written up 2 receivers. No, over the last week, sorry, because Trey Palmer declared last week. So Nebraska, Trey Palmer declared to go pro. And then Zay Flowers today from Boston College declares to go pro. So some super explosive players that are already coming out. The wide receiver class should be pretty thick. And we've noticed it as draft analysts that the college game, well, it's not thick every year. It's thick every year now because the college game has changed. Yes.
Yeah, these days, like, I mean, you go back 10 years ago, it wasn't always thick. But we're talking about quality wide receiver classes. Probably this is about the 6th year in a row where we've been able to say, wow, this is a pretty good and deep receiver class. And you mentioned it on college football. College football has no problem developing NFL-ready wide receivers. And we see the fact that you can have somebody like Brandon Johnson, who's undrafted, and he has made a pretty good acquittal of himself, both in practice and even in some game time reps as well. It's not hard to find those guys. O-linemen, there's the trick. And that's where the Broncos need to be shopping this offseason.
That is exactly where the Broncos need to be shopping offseason. We'll see if they do that. Also, K'Wan Williams. We've got some news items there, Mace. Not the news of the day, the newsiest of the day, but it's significant.
It's significant that he's back on the field today, saw limited work. Now, we'll see kind of what the ramp-up procedure for him is if they try to get him back for this Sunday's game or if they wait a week. But as I go back and watch the last couple of games, Cecil, that they've played without K'Wan Williams, I don't think it's coincidence that both the Raiders and Panthers ran the ball well. Now, there's a lot of issues up front going on as well, but K'Wan is terrific in run support. And so when you are weak at setting the edge, as the Broncos are right now, you're counting on your corners to provide the kind of support that will prevent some of those explosives in the run game. As a result, you don't have K'Wan Williams out there. Essang Bassey, with all due respect to him, stepped down. So getting K'Wan back, especially providing that run support on the edge, I think that would be huge. And if they could get him back by Sunday, would really give the Broncos a little bit more of a shot at the upset. Although, other news to touch on as well, Lamar Jackson, full practice today. He was limited and left practice yesterday due to a quad issue. Full practice today out there in Baltimore, out at Owings Mills, specifically where they train. So I don't think the Broncos are going to get that break of getting Brett Hundley in the lineup on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think Tyler Huntley. It's not Brett.
Brett
Huntley sucks. Tyler Huntley can play.
I knew I was going to mess that up. Gummit.
One's UCLA and one's Utah, so they're a couple.
They're both packed, but they're both packed well. But Brett Hundley was a bust, and Tyler Huntley looks like somebody who may well get at least a shot to be somebody's bridge starting quarterback at some point in the near future.
Right, our guy Jason here, the pot stoner degenerate up in Greeley, says good product placement. You know what that makes me think of is Wayne's World, when he's
Yeah.
like, I would never do that. He's eating their Doritos, and then he gets,
Yeah.
is it Nuprin? I don't think they make it anymore, do they? Like
They do,
Nuprin,
yeah.
little yellow,
different. And then like I think it's Garth who's wearing like the full Reebok sweatsuit. Like,
right?
it's like some people like do things just because they get paid, and that's really sad. And he leans back and he's got the Reebok. Oh
Got
my!
a little Wayne's World vibe here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little Wayne's World vibe. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's cool. Maybe I've often thought like I should if I went for Halloween as a Wayne's World character, I'd have to go as Garth. I think I could pull off Garth.
You should go as
Very
Darth
well.
Vader. I'll send you a pic. I saw a meme
Oh
that
my
somebody had
gosh.
Darth Vader, and it was awesome. So
So it was like Vader with the Garth glasses,
but with
and
Garth,
instead
and he
of
had
the
his
mask,
hair.
the hair.
Yeah, he had the hair that was kind
Oh.
of cut like the mask. Like the helmet. Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Legit. The Broncos are going to go up against Lamar Jackson. I thought people got a little too excited yesterday. It's like, come on, it's Wednesday. We'll see. And so that's going to be a handful. I'm writing my 3 keys piece. It'll be at denverfan.com tomorrow morning. Hot and fresh, Mace. My number 1 key is mush rush. Now, they did that last year, and Jackson killed him as a passer. Now, that was with Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, who's a little bit banged up, but and Brown's not there, of course. So it's like, okay, I think they can still mush rush him again. And without the weapons that he had last year, he might not be as effective through the air.
Yeah, potentially not. Although it does sound more and more like they're going to have Mark Andrews for this game as well, and that's obviously a tricky matchup. But again, if you can get K'Wan Williams, back out there, and then certainly they don't go as deep at wide receiver as they did back when they came out here in 2021. So I think you'll have some opportunities there. The one thing, though, is you can mush rush, but the Ravens, they're much healthier, much deeper at running back than they were last year. So given the issues that you had stopping the run, again, K'Wan Williams will help you if he's back out there. But I think the Ravens are going to try to test the Broncos on the ground, and that's where things may get a little bit tricky. I'm not talking about RPO action from Lamar Jackson. I'm talking about the running backs. I'm talking about Gus Edwards and company being able to make some things happen. That's what I'm concerned
looking
about.
at J.K. Dobbins, who could be back this week, and Edwards is the banger, and Dobson's more the space guy. I'm not going to say speed guy, and he's been missing a lot of time. I wouldn't say it'd be missing work, but okay, so we'll watch. But they have a full complement.
Terrific, Peter.
That is, yeah. He's company material, right? Due for a promotion.
Yeah,
but
he's a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
I love it. Office Space, Wayne's World. We got them all.
Yeah. We're spanning the decades here.
What's the commercial that has the office? Is it Walmart? I need to talk to Greg Penner and
Which
Robson
one?
Walton.
I haven't
They have
seen
the
that one
Office
yet.
Space people. They have the just a moment. Just a moment. They got Inisec. They have the one dude. They have Lumberg. Lumberg's in it.
Gary
But Michael
Cole,
Bolton is actually Michael Bolton, the singer, not Michael Bolton from Office Space.
Oh,
and I'm disappointed about that. I'm like, it should be Michael Bolton from Office Space. I don't need the singer.
But is that the punchline of it, that they have the actual Michael Bolton instead of
No,
Michael Bolton
I'm not sure what it is. It's like really cool, and then it's Michael Bolton, and you're like,
oh, okay, yeah. Do they have Milton, Stephen Root?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, see, come on, man. They got to have him saying that he's going to set fire to the building. They put strychnine. I could put strychnine in the guacamole.
I said no salt on the margarita.
No salt.
Yeah, I want to do that so bad if I ever vacation in Mexico. So anyway, let's get to this Broncos team, and we have to infuse some humor into it, or else it's just sad and depressing. And to me, okay, Mike Boone, do we have an update there, Mace? Probably not yet this week.
Well, it's interesting because right now you only have 2 running backs that are active on the 53 right now, because they moved down Devine Ezigbo back to the practice squad. So, there's an opening for Mike Boone if he's ready. Now, the thing with Boone, it's obviously his first week of practice with the team, but we saw him over on the side rehab field the last couple of weeks. So I would not be surprised if he plays in this game. That's just kind of my own
The
observation.
Zigbo move kind of signaled that.
Yeah, we always say focus on what they do, not what they say, right? When they bump a Zigbo down, that's a tell that they expect Mike Boone to be ready to go for this game and be that number 3 back and be primarily the third down back. Marlon Mack's kind of actually the third back, but he's the relief on Latavius Murray. Mike Boone plays, he's playing a lot of your third downs.
Okay, we've got Steve with a really good question. What are the odds the Ravens overlook the Broncos? We've seen this before, and shock the world, whatever. I don't think it happens, especially with a team like with John Harbaugh. This is a well-coached team. They know who they are. They know how to win. I don't think they'll hey, the Broncos suck and we're moving on.
The chances of that were dramatically reduced by what happened to the Ravens last Sunday in Jacksonville. If the Ravens have their typical result in a game like that, they pull off the dub, I think you could have caught them napping a little bit. Losing that game at the end of the Jags, Justin Tucker had a chance at a Hail Mary field goal late that missed. Losing that game and also seeing that the Bengals are putting things back together, the onus is back on Baltimore and the pressure is back on them a little bit. So I don't think you're going to get the break of getting a Ravens team that is looking past the Broncos. I think you're going to get a Ravens team that knows this is a game that they have to have in order to maintain their standing in the AFC North. So sorry about that, Broncos country, but Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson and company did not do you any favors by playing as well as they did last week.
Right, and I'm looking at it. They're at the Steelers, at the Browns. So 2 divisional games coming up. Like, this team wants to get rolling and get that momentum going. And as pretty much everybody said it, I don't know who's the first to say it, because in radio, it's like, I said it first. The Broncos are everybody's get-right game.
Sad but true. That's what they've become this year. The Panthers did not play well the previous week against Baltimore. Offense only had 3 points. They put Sam Darnold in. They get 23 comfortably. The run game flourishes. The Raiders had been struggling. Their offense lights it up late against the Broncos. Tennessee gets Ryan Tannehill back in there, gets it done. That's the way it is. The Broncos. If this were college football, the Broncos would be everybody's homecoming opponent. And by the way, Jose, got to get in this comment here. Jose pointing out, of course, that Justin Tucker did make fun of Russell Wilson. Of course, they were coming back from the Tampa Bay game.
The high knees
on that flight. He did the high knees thing. And I agree with you, Jose. Ravens may have been overlooking them, but after the Jaguars game, don't think you're going to get that break here.
Nope, you're going to get that reset because those next 2 divisional games for Baltimore are both on the road.
Yeah,
so
and they know
home.
Yeah. They know they have to have this game. They know they got to put those acorns away because they play the Steelers. Anything can happen against the Steelers, and against the Browns, you're going to get them with Deshaun Watson.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, that's a team that's built for a playoff run. So they are now preparing. Okay, you dropped one. But now they're preparing to start to get the things right for this December football. December football's here. And I think the calendar flipping, Mace, is something we can't overlook for the good teams, not for Denver.
Yeah, believe it or not, I find myself thinking back to last year when we actually talked about the Broncos playing some meaningful December games. They played Cincinnati in December. Both teams were 7-6 going into that game, and the Broncos had chances to win that game. It went down to the end. If Drew Lock doesn't have that fumble on, when he misreads the edge, then you know what? Who knows? All I know is that since then, that was the start of a 4-game losing streak to end that season for the Broncos, and since that day, they are 3-12. Whereas the Bengals, they went to the Super Bowl and they look poised for another playoff run. It's just amazing how in that moment, the Bengals and Broncos just went in total opposite directions. The Bengals to near the top of the NFL, and the Broncos legitimately second worst team in the league right now.
He is Andrew
Wow.
Mason. I am Cecil Lammey. It's big, man. It's big. It's meta.
Yeah.
But we got to run today. Cut it short a little bit today, but we'll be back tomorrow. And Mace, I'll bundle up and see you out there at Dove Valley tomorrow. But everyone out there, as
Bundle
always,
up. It's beautiful out here today. It's
wow.
beautiful.
I'm Chicano. I got to stay warm, man.
Oh, it's sweatshirt.
I'm in my
man.
house wearing a flannel.
Dude, I'm from the South. You're from Colorado. Wyoming. You know, you should be up for this, dude.
It's in my
Come
blood.
on.
It's in my blood. I got that Latino blood, right? I gotta stay warm. I gotta bundle up here. So,
Oh my gosh.
And we'll say we appreciate
good.
you all. Thank you very much, my friend. We appreciate you. Be safe. Be kind. Know that you are appreciated. He's Andrew Mason. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.